All right, listen, Boise State, Utah State. This is the Kingdom of Pod, I believe, Boise State podcast. Do it before games, after games with a holiday weekend coming up. Little different schedule this week. Hope you are enjoying it, getting ready to enjoy some family time like I am coming up this weekend. It's all brought to you by Bet Online. Let's get to it. I want to sort of deviate a little bit from getting right into Boise State and Utah State to get into the name, image, and likeness game. And I just think there's some things coming up that are important and critical and changes in college football. And, you know, Boise State's involved in it. USC is getting a lot of attention for it. And, you know, Boise State's now getting closer to being able to launch their collective, the Horseshoe Collective, with a group of boosters who are putting together the funds. One of the reasons this is so critical right now is that the transfer portal opens on December 5th. That's the Monday after the conference championship games. Other schools have already had defections. If their season's over, kids can say, I'm going to get into the transfer portal. They just can't hit it physically yet. But like North Dakota State, highly successful FCS program, won a game, and now they're like the number 3 seed in the FCS playoffs. They lost 3 players. You know, I don't know if they're going to play or not, but they've said they're going to transfer. You know, I need to recharge or whatever their reasons are. That can't be productive to winning a FCS national championship, which they are assumed to be doing frequently, of course, at North Dakota State. So if I look at Southern Cal, I see an example of a school that shifted their recruiting priorities. I'm sure they're still going to hit high schools hard because they have the rights to do that. They have the credentials, but they also turned their attention to other schools' players because they could do that too. And they got 26 players in the transfer portal. And, you know, it used to be that you couldn't get guys from your own conference. Well, that's changed. And so the USC teams got kids from Oregon, Washington, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, and even Stanford at running back. And some of them, like Dye, who transferred from Oregon, are unbelievably successful and great football players, not disgruntled guys who just want more playing time. So if I look at Boise State's situation, could they raid other schools in the Mountain West Conference? Yeah, they could if they have more to offer those kids. And sometimes a winning program is enough. Increasingly, with the upper echelon at the top ends of things, I don't think it will be. But what has me as concerned as anything is the reaction from some of the other schools in the Pac-12 towards their own collectives, namely Oregon State, Washington State, even in Arizona State, those schools, because they're looking at saying to themselves, we don't want to become a feeder school to USC, who will soon go out saying, look, why don't you come here? We're going to have better time slots on TV and bigger audience watching our Big Ten games when we play Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame, UCLA, and we're on national TV during the day rather than playing at 8:30, 10 o'clock at night over here on a streaming service. So they're going to have those advantages. And just how long is it till Boise State becomes a victim of being a feeder system? They've got some great young talent on this team in critical positions. And what's to stop those kids from saying, what's my market value? And not that I'm disgruntled with my coach or team. And you just want to do everything you can to stop those things from occurring. And I see it as mission critical right now. And the time is now, because this portal is coming up. It's very disruptive. I think it's hard for fans to understand, accept. Sometimes maybe hard to even participate in because it's so new and different, paying to have players hang around. It's a lot on the Kevin McDonald's, Torrey McIlvain's, Jeff Miller's, Clint Bolander, Joe Nickel, and others. I know I'm forgetting some names that are involved in getting this collective together to benefit the community and Boise State athletes, not only in football, but men's basketball. And I think even the women's basketball program is going to be involved in this as well. So the date I was a little unaware of the 5th of December, and you want to have everything ready. I think it's important, and I hope that this comes around faster rather than not. So let's hope that the collective can help stop kids from thinking of transferring out of Boise State to some of these bigger schools. And if Oregon State, Washington State, and Colorado, and look at the schools that in the Pac-12 that lost guys to USC, they're worried now. Think of what they're going to be once Southern Cal checks into the Big Ten. So there's a lot here, I think, to examine. Let's get on to Boise State, Utah State. Utah State beat San Jose last week by 4. They're now bowl eligible. I question their motivation from here because they've got that accomplished. They're going to a lower level bowl. They're really outmanned going to Boise. They know that. And while they've had a good team, they lost to them last year with a better team. And they really have some challenges. Their run defense is leaky. And I think if last week I thought Cutter would want to throw the football extensively, I think you want to run the ball against Utah State. Control the clock. Get those minutes off the board as fast as possible to lower your incidence of injury. Empty your bench as soon as you can. Rotate in guys. Try to get control of this game early and then put it away and get healthy and stay on that course for the Mountain West Championship game coming the next week. And the best way to do that is on the ground against the leaky Utah State run defense. Utah State also turns it over extensively. I was surprised when I read they have 16 interceptions that they've given up. And they've also fumbled it away 6 times. So their 22 turnovers is like 5th in the country, worst at giving stuff away. That's not a great combination on a shorter week for them to come in to Albertson Stadium with some players playing their last time ever there, at least in a regular season game. They've got to go. I don't know that they'll go through the whole senior day ritual stuff before a bowl game. So, before a conference championship game. I haven't seen much about that, but I think the home team has a huge advantage here. I like Boise State to get off early and to get away early and to really beat Utah State by at least that 2 touchdown margin, if not more. But again, transfer portal, NIL, see where this is all going, hope for the best. This is a great team. They have some young guys that definitely have bright futures, not only at Boise State, but in college football. It'll be interesting to see where that all goes. All right, that's it for this week's edition of the Kingdom of Pod, Boise State, and Believe, the podcast network's Boise State football podcast. I don't know how I'm going to be posting this weekend. I'll be out of town with my family for Thanksgiving, so I wish you have a great one, and I'll be talking to you soon, of course, before we get to Mountain West Championship Week.